Hi, welcome to Diamond Delight Edibles. Welcome back if you're a regular subscriber, and if you're new to the channel, my name is Liz. So today I'm going to make cough drops. Don't know why I forgot that, but yeah, we're gonna make a CannaOil cough drops. So normally I always work with canna butter, and I always get asked, will this work with CannaOil? So for all you CannaOil people, I'm doing this with that for you, okay? So if you are a butter person, yes, it will work. I just wanted to show our oil people that do a demonstration with oil so that you can see that it does work as well. So without much more babbling going on here, I'm going to jump right into the ingredients, what we're going to need for our equipment, and we're going to put that together. Alright, so what you're going to need for your cough drops is 1 cup of white sugar, granulated sugar, a 1/4 cup of corn syrup, a 1/4 cup of honey. Now, if you don't want to use corn syrup, you can use 1/2 cup of corn syrup. You 1/2 cup of water, a 1/4 cup of your CannaOil, and now I'm going to be adding in the essential oil. I'm going to be using lemon and eucalyptus. And I'm also going to be adding in, because I have asthma and COPD, I'm going to try adding in some turmeric into this. I'm going to do a little test here for it to help to see if it helps with inflammation. And the other thing that you're going to need is either soy or sunflower lecithin. We do not use guar gum as the emulsifier for hard candy because guar gum has a gelling property to it, and it interferes with the setting of hard candy. All right, that's it for our ingredients. And oh, sorry, I lied. So with regards to essential oils, so I'm going to be using lemon and eucalyptus. It is very, very important if you're going to use essential oils in any of your candies or cooking that they are 100% pure and that there are no additives or preservatives in them in order to keep them fresh. So always check that. If they are not to be ingestible, they will say on the back that they are not for internal use or do not ingest. Now, I do know the doTERRAs are an excellent brand, and they are 100%, they're fine. They're 100% organic, and you can ingest them. And I checked the label on this one, and it says that it is 100% pure, and there are no additives. So that is why I'm using that. So please be careful if you're going to use essential oils. And what's the other thing? Yeah, the other thing is making sure that they are essential oil and not an essential fragrance, because within the fragrance, they just obviously extract the fragrance, and there's going to be preservatives in there that can make you very, very sick. So just be careful when it comes to using essential oils. All right, so, oops. Love it when I hit the camera. So the equipment you're going to need is a small, heavy-bottomed saucepan, and the reason for heavy bottom is it helps with your heat distribution so that your syrup cooks evenly. You're going to want a larger pot of ice water, and that is going to help. That's going to assist us in stopping the cooking process once we reach our temperature. You're going to need a spatula for stirring. And then if you have these chocolate molds, these kind of flat chocolate molds, they'll work really well because you lay the hard candy, and with the dents in here, so with the dents in here like this, you'll be able to break your hard candy into pieces. Now, if you don't have one of those, no problem. If you've got a small cookie tray, or you've got a small cookie tray, just going to line that with parchment paper. You can do that, and then I'll show you what to do in order to make it easy for you to break it up into even pieces. All right, that's all that we need for the equipment. So we're gonna get these ingredients put together and make our cough drops. Oops, sorry, I forgot. You're also going to want a cup with boiling hot water, and a pastry brush or a clean or brand new paintbrush will work as well. Sorry, I always forget something. So the first thing I really want to do is I just want to get my coconut oil melted. Don't put it in the microwave. Just place it into another bowl with hot water. Make sure it's not too much water to get inside of it. And that will melt up while we're cooking. Coconut oil, as you guys know, melts very quickly and easily. All right, so to our small saucepan, we are going to add our 1 cup of sugar. Looks like I got a little moisture in there somewhere. And we are going to add in our 1/4 cup of honey, or said you can add in a 1/2 cup of honey and not add the corn syrup. Just an FYI, you can always use honey as a replacement for corn syrup. However, don't forget you're going to be dealing with the honey taste, so just keep that in mind. We're going to add in, our 1/4 cup of corn syrup. Just starting to do things, not even telling you. And we're going to add in our 1/2 cup of water. And then we are going to gently stir this until it is all combined and our sugar begins to dissolve before we turn our heat on. Make sure to get all around the edges of the pot because the sugar likes to sit in there, likes to hide. And once you've got that mixed up, you're going to turn your heat on to medium-high. And you're going to continue stirring until our syrup begins to boil. The moment it begins to boil, we're going to stop stirring. And the only thing that we are going to do the rest of the time is clean the edges of the pot if any sugar crystals collect on the sides while cooking. And then to wash down the edges of the pot, just take off the excess water and then just gently go around the edges and you just wash down any excess crystals. And the reason that we do that is so that if you leave sugar crystals on the side, they can interfere with your syrup and they can cause your syrup to crystallize later. So again, you're just going to continue to stir that gently until it begins to boil. Now, a couple of very important things with your cooking, when cooking hard candy, is your temperature, environment-wise. If you have high humidity or if you live in a very hot and humid place, making hard candy is almost virtually impossible. If you don't have an air conditioner or a dehumidifier, I would not recommend making hard candy. It's just not going to set. That's one major thing is your temperature. You really want to have a low humidity. Most candy places who do homemade candies actually do not even make their candies during the summertime. So my syrup has started boiling. We're going to attach the candy thermometer and turn your heat down to medium. And remember, at this point, we don't stir anymore, and we're just going to wash down any sugar crystals that have formed on the side. Now, if you find that when your syrup starts to boil, and if it starts to come up too close to the top, you think it's going to go over, just pick it up off the heat, turn your heat down to medium, just wait a few seconds for it to come down, and it'll all be good. And now we are going to cook our candy syrup to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. That is hard crack, called hard crack in your candy world. Now, it's very important whenever you're cooking hard candy. Don't leave your kitchen. Don't go toddle off and go do other things for a couple of minutes because your candy goes very quickly. So it will sit at a temperature of about 230 or so for about 5 to 7 or 10 minutes or so. It depends on how high your heat is. And that's kind of while the main water is cooking off. After that, your temperature starts to increase very rapidly. So it will go degrees in just a matter of seconds. So it's very important. Don't leave your kitchen. Always keep an eye on your candy thermometer. So while our candy syrup is cooking, I'm going to add our essential oils into our coconut oil, our melted coconut infused oil here. So I'm going to add in 5 drops of eucalyptus. And I'm going to add in 10 drops of lemon. And I'm going to add in the turmeric. Now I said turmeric is totally optional. I'm going to let you know how it tastes. If it really affects the taste, then I'll recommend don't put it in. But if it doesn't taste too bad at all, then if you do have inflammation, I'll let you know how it feels, because my lungs are always kind of a little bit on fire. We'll see if it actually works. And then what you can also do is, if you want, you can add some artificial flavor. So if you want to add a little extra lemon oil, the Lorraine's lemon oil, you can do that as well. And the other thing you want to make sure you have on hand ready to go is your lecithin and a measuring spoon, because we're going to use about a teaspoon or so of lecithin. And then you also want to make sure that you have either your molds on hand ready to go, or your cookie sheet or your pan, whatever that you're going to lay it in. All right, so we're almost at the 300 mark. 300. Off she goes. You're going to dunk it in the water until it starts to come down a couple of degrees. Turn your heat off. You're going to remove your candy thermometer. Be very careful, because you are now working with molten lava. We're going to add in our coconut oil with our essential oils. Ooh, that's slippery. And we're going to add in a teaspoon of lecithin. You're going to dribble that all kind of over it. And now you are going to gently stir until your oil and your syrup starts to combine. Now, if it starts to solidify too much on the bottom, it's getting too hard, you can put it on low. You can put the burner on low and just put it on the burner until that begins to melt again. Smells pretty good. And oops, don't do that. So you got to be careful until the oil and the syrup starts to combine. Now as it starts to try to stir it a little bit quicker, so we can gets pulled in, and we're trying to emulsify our syrup with our oil. And you're going to stir that until it is all one uniform color. It's going to lighten up quite a bit. As the oil and syrup combines, you can start to stir it quicker. But again, just please be very, very careful. That looks pretty good. So I'm just going to put this on low here for a moment, because I have it solidifying a little bit on the bottom, and I want to make sure that it's all properly stirred in. So I'm just going to put it on the low heat for a moment. Clean up my spillage. Yeah, I know. You guys try working over a camera. Alright, so I've just got it on low here. I just want to get the bottom melted, but I don't want to be cooking it. So make sure, as I said, you're on low. Alright, so my little chocolate mold. You just use your spatula to smooth it out. Now the other way, as I said, if you don't have the mold, you just pour it onto the sheet, onto that small cookie sheet or pan. Bubbles. Now, if you're using the mold, just leave it. You're going to let it, you're just going to let them completely set and cool. So it takes maybe about an hour. And if you've got it on the sheet here, we're going to partly score it. So you're going to be able to break it into pieces once it's set. But we need this to set just a little bit more. Okay, so as it's starting to set, but it's still, you can touch it, it still goes in. You're going to take a scraper, or if you don't have one of these, straight edge cutter or a scraper, you can use a pizza cutter, and you're just going to score it. So you're just going to gently put lines into it, and you want to kind of make them about whatever you want to do, about an inch apart. Probably help if I turned it this way for you. And then you'll go this way. I said you don't have to, you just want to go kind of part way through. And obviously if you have a pizza cutter, same thing, you're just going to gently roll it across. So you're just going to gently roll it across. Like so. And then you're going to leave that until that is completely set. Again, about an hour. And we'll be back and we'll break up our candies and we're going to give it a test run. Alright, so for those of you who may not be familiar making hard candy, now you got your pot and it solidifies and it's all sticky and hard. You're like, how am I ever going to get this out? Not a problem. Just run it under hot water for a few minutes. Let it soak for about 10-15 minutes. The sugar completely melts and it's super easy to clean. Same thing if you get any on your counter and it's completely hardened, just put some hot water on it and let it sit for a few minutes and use any kind of scraper or knife and it easily scrapes right off. So don't worry, I know it seems really scary at times when you're like, what am I going to do with this? Hot water, that's all you need. Easily scrape it off. Now if you scored your candy and it was a little too warm and it starts to melt and kind of all come back together, don't worry about it. Once it solidifies a little bit more, just go over your lines again. One very, very important thing, do not ever put hard candy in the refrigerator to try and cool it quicker. You will ruin your candy because you're going to add moisture to it and it will go all sticky and tacky. Once our candy is completely hardened, you can now break it apart. So you can just gently, oh, that's not working so well. That's better. You could probably also use like a butcher knife or something just to kind of press down on it, but you don't want to go too hard. Alright, so let's say our candy mold probably didn't work out the best. It's not too bad, but I think it's because it's a little thick. Now for the one that we scored, should be a little easier. Yeah, see how much easier these break up? So, recommended method, don't use the mold. I would go with putting it in a pan and scoring it. Like that. Because now they break in nice, perfectly even pieces. without having any sharp edges and things like that. The other ones you're going to have sharp edges, so you want to be definitely careful. So yeah, I would eliminate, I wouldn't do the mold, or unless you can make cuts on the other side as well, then that would help it. So once all your candies are all broken up into their little individual pieces, you can store them either in a glass jar. If you, okay, let me, if you do not have humidity, or you have very low humidity, you can just store them in a glass jar, no problem. If you live in a place that does have humidity, or it's getting into summer and humidity is going to start to become an issue, you can store them in a Ziploc baggie with some icing sugar or powdered sugar, however you call it. So you just pour them and keep them in the bag, shake them up. And you can either take them out now, or you can just leave them. So you can do that as well, or you can just leave them in the bag. The other is you can do them in the bag. Once you have them coated, you can drop them into your jar. All right, there you go. All right, so I did give one of these guys a try. I'm sorry, I don't ever eat on camera. And they were really good. I was actually just a little surprised because I was kind of worried about the essential oils. Now, 2 changes I'm going to make in future is I'm going to stick to butter because I really don't like the taste of coconut. With that little bit of coconut is kind of not my favorite. It might be okay with you, but for me personally, I'm going to stick to butter. And the other is I would probably use turmeric essential oil versus the powder, because it is a little bit grainy because of the powder. But other than that, though, the taste is really good. And I had one a couple minutes ago, and my lungs and my chest does starting to feel a lot clearer. So hopefully, who knows, maybe this will be better than using my puffers. That would be awesome. Well, anyway, I want to thank you so much for joining me. I hope you give this a try, and as always, if you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to put them in the comments. I do try to get back to everybody, and I do apologize if I've missed you. Sometimes the comments do get lost, and I just can't find them again. So I do apologize if I have missed anybody. However, I do my best to get back. And I'm hoping what I'm working on, a couple things in the future, is to start working on some savory dishes. So I was looking at maybe a mac and cheese and some chicken fingers, and I've got some other things on the menu there. I don't want to give it all away. So if you are new to this channel, I do hope you subscribe. There's lots of great stuff to come in the future. And once again, I just would really like to thank you all for watching and joining me. Have a great day. Oh, and if you haven't checked out the recipe for triple chocolate cheesecake, you have got to check out and try this recipe. It's unbelievably good. Really, really. That's why I'm telling you again. So have a look up that recipe and give it a try. You will not be disappointed. So I'm going to have this, and then I'm going to go nighty-night.